It's a grueling trek to the world's highest summit.
Tired?
Yeah, very tired.
For some, it's about the joy of reaching it.
It's exhilarating to stand on top of the world. It was also, a little bit disturbing because there were just so many people up there.
Ottawa's Elias Seikaly is an experienced climber who recently summited Everest for the third time. He says it will be his last.
You've got 80 or 90 people in front of you. You're in pitch darkness. An hour and a half later, there's a body, that is attached to the anchor point where two lines meet. And every single person that was climbing to the summit had to climb over that deceased climber. And you realize that, what happened to them could potentially happen to you. And you're in a state of survival.
This picture emerged last week, showing a packed line of climbers in the so-called death zone, where oxygen levels are low and people are forced to wait. Seikaly and others say these traffic jams are partly to blame for a number of deaths, along with a short weather window to safely summit, and they say Nepalese authorities issued too many permits this year.
I think maybe there should be a limit on how many people go up each day, because you only have a limited supply of oxygen.
It's a circus right now, and something has to be done.
There were no crowds when Gabriel Philippi reached the summit earlier this month for the third time, but he says he's seen a lot of inexperienced climbers in over their heads.
There's greed also. People want to make money, so some expedition don't refuse clients. They don't do a screen up. So some people don't have any experience. They end up on the mountain.
Nepalese officials told the Washington Post it's not as much about the number of permits as it is about the kinds of climbers getting them. They say they'll decide how to move forward after this year's expeditions are done. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Montreal.
Last week's tragic events pushed the total number of known deaths on Mount Everest past 300. From 1922 until this past weekend, it's estimated that 307 people have died on Everest. More than a third of them were Nepalese, many of them Sherpa mountain guides who prepare the climbing routes and carry supplies. Allison mentioned the death zone in her report. That's the area above 8,000 meters where most of those climbers lost their lives.